Title: My dad sold his dream car and I didn't find out why until years later. When I was 14, my dad sold his car. Not just any car. It was a faded black 1969 Mustang he'd been rebuilding since before I was born. Every weekend, he'd spend hours in the garage working on it. Music playing softly, tools scattered everywhere, grease on his hands. He loved that car more than anything. At least that's what I thought. Then one day, it disappeared. I came home from school and the garage was empty. Where's the Mustang? I asked. Dad barely looked up from the kitchen table. Sold it. That was it. No explanation, no emotion. I was angry for weeks because 2 days later, my parents told me we suddenly had enough money for my surgery. I had a heart condition when I was younger. Insurance covered most of it, but not all. My parents had been stressed for months trying to figure things out. Still, part of me secretly blamed him because after the surgery, Dad changed. He stopped smiling as much, stopped going into the garage. Sometimes I catch him staring at old car magazines like he lost a part of himself. Years passed. I graduated high school, went to college, got a job. Then on my 25th birthday, Dad handed me a small envelope. Inside was an old photograph. It was him standing beside the Mustang when he was younger. On the back, he had written, I love this car, but not as much as I love the kid who needed me to let it go. I looked at him and asked, why didn't you ever tell me? Dad shrugged, because I never wanted you to feel guilty for surviving. That hit harder than anything I'd ever heard in my life. A few months later, I found out something else. The guy who bought the Mustang had restored it completely. And after hearing the story from my mom, he invited Dad to see it again. I'll never forget watching my father place his hand on the hood, quietly smiling like he was seeing an old friend. Then the owner tossed him the keys and said, take her for a drive. My dad cried before he even started the engine.